Rain's magic requests. A cloud rolled along merrily in the sky. The peacock said, "Why don't you rain? I will dance for you." The fish said, "Please rain, I need more water." The farmer said, "Please rain, I'll plant seeds for the next crop." Jack said, "If you rain, I'll sail paper boats." The cloud rained in a shower of shimmering drops. The peacock spread its pretty feathers and danced. The pond filled up. The fish was happy. The farmer started planting seeds. Splash, splash, splash. Jack and his friends had a wonderful time in the puddles. The cloud filled everybody's heart with joy. It moved on. All the children waved goodbye. Once upon a time, in a village, there lived a poor farmer with his wife. They had nothing but a little farm where they grew vegetables that they could eat and sell to their neighbors. They also had few animals on their farm. Every morning, he took a round of the farm. He would pick some vegetables and look at all the animals, give them food, and ensure that all his animals were safe and healthy. One morning, as he walked around gathering some eggs, he saw a golden egg laid by one of the goose. He picked up the golden egg and ran inside his house to show his wife the egg. The excited farmer said, "Look, one of our goose gave us a golden egg. It is pure gold. He will never have to work again." The farmer's wife took special care of the goose. Every morning they used to come in order to pick up the golden egg. Slowly and steadily the farmer and his wife were becoming richer and richer. They bought new things for the house, but as they become richer, they become greedier as well. One night, the farmer's wife told the farmer, "Why do we wait every morning for an egg? Let us kill the goose and get all the gold at once. She must have a lot of gold in her stomach." The farmer imagined himself having lots and lots of gold and decided to kill her in the morning. So, in the morning, the farmer and his wife killed the goose and cut her open. The goose had no golden eggs inside her stomach. They both were disappointed. Now the farmer and his wife had lost the goose, and they would never get any golden eggs again. They felt miserable. Moral of the story: too much greed always leads to great loss. Greed brings grief. Once upon a time, in a peaceful forest, there was a little tree named Willow. Willow was the smallest tree in the forest, and she dreamed of becoming the tallest and the most magnificent tree one day. The story starts with the gathering of all the forest creatures, including birds, animals, and butterflies. They all admire the beauty of the tall trees, but they often overlook the little willow. I wish I could be as big and strong as them. I want to see the world from above and feel the warmth of the sunlight on my leaves. In her dream, she magically grows taller and taller, reaching the height of the tallest trees. She becomes a grand and magnificent tree. I'm Willow, the tallest tree in the forest. I can touch the sky and sway with the wind. Oh, how wonderful it feels! In her dream, Willow explores an enchanted forest with talking animals and glowing fireflies. The forest is full of magical surprises, and Willow feels like a true queen of the forest. I am the queen of the forest. Look all the beauty all around me, and the creatures who admire my grandeur. As the sun rises, Willow wakes up, finding herself still a little tree. But now she is filled with the happiness and newfound confidence. I may be small, but my dreams are big. One day I will grow tall and become a grand tree, just like in my dreams. The moral of the story: Willow learns that dreams are powerful and inspire us to reach for the stars. From that day onwards, she grows happily, knowing that she will one day become the tallest tree in the forest. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful castle in the land far, far away. In the magnificent castle, there lived the most beautiful queen. The queen only had one wish: to be happy and to have a beautiful baby girl. It was a cold winter day. The queen was sitting next to the window. She saw a shooting star and made a wish to have a baby girl with skin as white as snow, whose eyes are brighter than the shiniest jewel, and had cherry red lips, and her heart full of joy and happiness. And one day, the wish of the good-hearted queen came true. She had a beautiful baby girl. They named her Snow White. The years went by. The queen becomes ill and soon after passed away. After a while, the king remarried another woman. The new queen had an evil heart. She was an arrogant and jealous woman. Every day the queen would look into her magic mirror and ask, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" The magic mirror would answer, "No one, your highness. You are the most beautiful one." The queen would be very happy with the answer. The years went by fast, and Snow White grew up to be a beautiful young girl. One day, the queen was in front of her magic mirror and asked the same question, but this time the mirror answered, "Well, I am sorry, but not you, dear queen. Snow White is fairest of all." The queen was furious hearing it. She immediately called her huntsman and ordered him to kill Snow White. The huntsman took her to the woods, but he couldn't hurt her. He asked her to run away from the castle and the evil queen. In the woods, she found a cute tiny house. She opened and entered the house. The house was very small and messy. Snow White started cleaning the house. She found 7 little beds. As she was tired from cleaning, she curled up on the bed and fell asleep. The 7 dwarfs came back home from work. They saw Snow White sleeping in their bed. She told them about what happened in the castle. The 7 dwarfs wanted to protect her from the evil queen. The queen learned that Snow White is still alive and decided to kill her. The evil queen disguised herself as an old woman and offered an apple to eat. Snow White took a bite of the apple, and as she did, she fainted. Dwarfs, while returning home, saw the evil queen in the disguise of an old woman. They chased her to the top of the mountain. When she reached the mountain top, she was hit by a lightning bolt and fell off the mountain and died. When the dwarfs returned home, they saw Snow White lying on the ground. She was in deep sleep. She was cursed by the evil queen. Dwarfs put Snow White in the glass box made of the most precious gems and kept the box in the forest. One day Prince Charming came to the woods and found his dream girl lying there. He lifted her and kissed her. Snow White opened her eyes. It was the true love's first kiss that broke her curse. Snow White and the prince returned to the kingdom and lived happily ever after. One day, the crow found a big piece of cheese and sat on the branch of the tree. Fox saw a crow sitting on the branch of the tree with a big piece of cheese in his mouth. The fox said to himself, "The cheese looks delicious and I'm very hungry. Let me take it from the crow." He went to the crow and said, "Good morning. You have a lovely piece of cheese with you. Can I please have a bite too?" But the crow refused. The fox begged to the crow, but the crow wouldn't listen. He just sat quietly and ate his piece of cheese. But the fox didn't give up. The fox returned to the tree and said to the crow, "Are you the same handsome crow that everyone in the forest has been talking about? You look beautiful. You also have a lovely black feathers and a sharp beak. You have a beautiful voice too. Everyone in the forest is praising your voice. Can you sing a sweet song for me?" The fox saw the crow swelling with pride. The crow was thrilled to hear that everyone in the forest was talking about him and praising him. He suddenly forgot all about the cheese and began to sing. As the crow began to sing, the piece of cheese fell down from the tree and the fox caught it. The foolish crow lost his cheese and sat crying on the tree alone. The fox ran away with the cheese. Moral of the story: be aware of flatterers. On a farm long ago, a mama duck sat on her nest.
Quack, 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 quack. How long must I wait for my babies to hatch? I have to sit here all alone, and no one comes to visit me. Quack, quack, quack.
But what could she do? A mama duck must keep her eggs warm till they hatch. At last, the eggs began to crack. One by one, yellow ducklings stepped out of their shells. They shook their wings and said,
Quack, 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 quack. Look at all of you. Quack, you all are so cute. Quack, 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 quack. Come and line up. We will go down to the lake for your first swim. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh dear! I should have 6 ducklings.
but one large egg was still in the nest.
Quack! Well, it looks like that big egg will take more time.
But one large egg was still in the nest.
Quack! Well, it looks like that big egg will take more time.
The next day, the big egg started to hatch. A baby boy bird came out. But if one may say so, it was an odd-looking thing. The bird was much bigger than others. He was not yellow at all. He was dark grey from his head to his feet, and he walked with a funny wobble. One of the yellow ducklings pointed.
What is that? He cannot be one of us. I have never seen such an ugly duckling. Quack! How can you say such a thing? You are only 1 day old. You better hatch from the very same nest as you did. Now line up. You will go to the lake for your first swim. Quack, 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 quack. Ugly, 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 quack, quack.
The ugly duckling did not know why the other ducklings were yelling at him. He took the last spot in the line. Each yellow duck jumped in the river and swam behind Mama Duck. When it was his turn, the ugly duckling jumped in and started to paddle too.
Quack! A thief, he can swim.
When they left the water and started to play, the ugly duckling tried to play with his brothers and sisters too. They yelled,
Quack! Go away! We will not play with you. You are ugly, and you walk weird too.
One day, one of the yellow ducklings said to the ugly duckling,
You know what? You would do us a big favor if you just went away from here. Quack, quack, get out! Quack, 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 get out, get out! Why won't they let me stay here? They are right. I should go.
That night, the ugly duckling flew over the farmyard fence. He flew till he ended on the other side of the lake. There he met 2 grown-up ducks.
Can I stay here for a while? I have nowhere else to be. What do we care? Just don't get in our way.
Suddenly, a big hungry dog came tearing by, chasing the 2 ducks. They quickly flew away in the air, and their feathers fell down on the ground. The poor ugly duckling froze in fear. The dog sniffed and sniffed at the ugly duckling, then turned away.
I'm too ugly even for the big hungry dog to want.
The sky turned dark, a bolt of lightning. Then come a big storm, with the heavy rains pouring down from the sky. In just a moment, the ugly duckling was soaked through and through. Then a cold wind started to blow. He sat with both wings held close to his chest.
If only there was a place I could get dry.
All at once, a tiny light blinked far off in the woods. Could it be someone's hut? He flew to the door. The door of the hut creaked open.
What is all that noise?
Said an old woman, looking right and left. Her eyes were not that good. Then she looked down.
Look at that. It's a duck.
She picked up the ugly duckling and dropped him inside her hut.
You can stay here, but only if you lay eggs,
she said. A tomcat and hen crept up to the ugly duckling.
Who do you think you are, coming here and taking up room by the fire? I do not need anyone else in the hut laying eggs. Don't worry about that. I'm a boy duck. Then why are you still here? Did you not hear what the old woman said? Get out from here, pretender. Quack, 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 quack. Get out, get out.
The door was still a bit open, so our poor ugly duckling slipped out the door and back into the storm.
No one wants me.
The storm ended. Soon he found a new lake. Looking into the water, the ugly duckling saw the reflection of a flock of large white birds flying. He looked overhead and could not believe what he saw. Above him were the most beautiful birds he had ever seen. Their long white bodies and slender necks seemed to just glide through the sky. He watched until the very last bird has winged its way out of view. He stayed at the lake all by himself, and time passed. The leaves of the trees turned deep red and gold, and then the leaves fell to the ground. Winter came, setting a blanket of white snow all over. The cold wind and the dark clouds made the ugly duckling feel even more sad. He had to go into the cold lake to fish, but it was getting harder to swim. The lake was turning to ice. One day, it was all he could do was to paddle the winter to keep it from freezing around him and trapping him in the lake.
I am so tired, quack, quack,
he said. Paddling with all his might, the ice got thicker and drew closer to him. In a moment, two giant hands swept him up. "Oh, you poor thing," said a farmer. He held the ugly duckling close to his thick wool jacket and took the bird to his home. Never was a warm fireplace more welcome. For the rest of the winter, the farmer cared for the ugly duckling. Then spring came. Tips of the green covered the trees. Short bright flowers popped up from the ground. "It is time for you to go to the lake to swim again, as you were born to do," said the farmer. He took the duckling back to the lake where he found him and set him with care on the water.
gosh, I feel strong,
said the young bird, flapping his wings.
Why, I never felt as strong as I do right now.
He heard quiet splashing sounds behind him and turned around. A flock of those same beautiful birds he had seen in the sky before landed behind him on the water.
Do not worry. I will go now. I will not make trouble for you.
He turned to go away. When he opened his eyes, he saw a reflection in the water of one of those beautiful white birds. Why was it so close to him? He jumped back, and the reflection jumped back too.
What is this?
He said. He stretched his neck, and the reflection of the beautiful bird stretched its neck too.
Why are you going so soon?
Said one of the beautiful birds.
Stay here with us. We will be great friends.
Then the bird who used to be the ugly duckling knew what had happened. He was no longer an ugly grey bird that wobbled when it walked. At one moment, all the swans flapped their wings and took off into the sky.
Oh my God!
One called back.
Take the lead.
So he flapped his wings fast and took his place in front of the whole flock. All his new friends flapped their wings behind him. He said, gliding and dipping through the sky as he sped on.
Who's an ugly duckling now? Sorry, not I.
He was happy because he found his true identity and the place where he belonged. He lived happily ever after with his new swan family, understanding that true beauty comes from within. Moral of the story: no matter how we look on the outside, what truly matters is who we are inside. Hey, late for today's match. No, I'm not coming. What? Not again? You promised to play for the team. If you break your promises so often, nobody will trust you and you will have no friends. Why do you say so? Okay then, let's listen to the story of the bear and the two friends. And you will know why. Once there was two very good friends, Sam and Patty. One day they were traveling to the city together. It's better to travel together. We can take care of each other. Yes, we should promise to help each other no matter what. As they were eating and enjoying the natural beauty and peace, suddenly they spotted a big grizzly bear advancing towards them from a distance. Ah, a bear! Quick, climb onto the tree. Patty climbed up quickly to a tree and hid in the branches. I'm slipping. Please help me climb. Sorry. Save yourself. Sam was taken back at Patty's behavior. He quickly fell flat on the ground and laid still to save himself somehow from the bear. The bear came up and felt Sam with his snout and sniffed him all over. But Sam held his breath tight and pretended to be dead as a wood. As expected, the bear showed little interest in the Sam, as bears do not touch a dead things. Showing no interest, the bear walked away from the spot. Then Patty climbed down the tree and looked at Sam. Did the bear whisper something in your ear? Sam smiled. You know, he gave me a great advice. Never trust a false friend who does not keep his promise and does not stand by you at the times of danger. Saying so, Sam picked up his belongings and left towards the city, Patty standing there all alone. So, we should try to keep our promises, right? Yes, you should try. Ready to play, Minnu? Once upon a time, there lived a lion in the dense Amazon rainforest. While he was sleeping by resting his big head on his paws, a tiny little mouse unexpectedly crossed by and ran across the lion's nose in hassle. This woke up the lion, and he laid his paw angrily on the tiny mouse to kill her. The poor mouse begged the lion to spare her this time, and she would pay him back on some other day. Hearing this, the lion was amused and wondered how such a tiny creature could ever help him. But he was in good mood, and in his generosity, he finally let the mouse go. A few days later, a hunter set a trap for the lion while the big animal was stalking for prey in the forest, caught in the toils of a hunter's net. The lion found it difficult to free himself and roared loudly in anger. As the mouse was passing by, she heard the roar and found the lion struggling hard to free himself from the hunter's net. The little creature quickly ran towards the lion's trap that bound him and gnawed the net with her sharp teeth until the net tore apart. Slowly she made a big hole in the net, and soon the lion was able to free himself from the hunter's trap. The lion thanked the little mouse for her help, and the mouse remembered him that she had finally repaid the lion for sparing her life before. Thereafter, the lion and the mouse became good friends and lived happily in the forest. Moral of the story: love and kindness are never wasted. You can accomplish by kindness which you cannot by force.